apart from preparing comprehensively for an interview, guys, there is more that one can do to ensure a successful outcome in an interview. And today we're going to talk about some of the tips that I do feel could aid somebody in their interview, some of the tips that can actually increase your chances of success, especially if you're in care. Here we are going to talk about some of the tips that I do feel could actually influence the result of an interview outcome. So welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm Florence. If you're watching us for the first time, please be kind enough to subscribe, as we do share more on life in the diaspora, life abroad, because I moved to the UK 2 years ago on a skilled worker visa, on a care visa, and I'm enjoying it. So no wonder why I do share all the things that I've learned over the years, all the things that I do feel could benefit somebody in a similar role or on a similar relocation journey. So today we're going to talk about some of the tips that I do feel could actually ensure success in an interview for care, be it in the NHS, be it in a care home, be it in domiciliary or support work. If you do maybe employ some of the tips that we're going to talk about today, you could see yourself landing a role. So what has influenced today's discussion or today's talk is because of all the opportunities that we've been sharing previously. And if you haven't watched some of our videos, please do go and go and watch some of the videos, as we shared a lot of opportunities and a lot of how I actually managed to get into the NHS myself. So the first tip that I want to share with you is that one should familiarize themselves with the values of the organization that they are applying for, or the organization that they're going to be interviewed by. It's very, very important, so that some of the questions that you answer, you then align your answers with their values, with their core business, with the things that are important or that are very, very crucial to them. So some of these values, I'll give an example. If you are attending an NHS interview, some of these values do incorporate respect, dignity, compassion, and improving lives. And also just make sure your answers do reflect on these values. This could increase your chances of success. Also, again, when you translate your experience, suppose you have been asked a question whereby you're supposed to explain your experience pertaining to this role, make sure that you try and show that you've actually worked in a similar role, and also link your experience to the answer to this question in particular. Also, if you're attending a care interview, be it in the NHS or domiciliary, it's very, very important that you portray the 6 C's of care in your answer. Show compassion, show courage, show how caring you are, show how compassionate you are, show how competent you are in your answers. I've always advised people to say whatever that you're going to say in a care interview or in a care situation, portray the 6 C's of care, and you can never go wrong. And if you haven't watched one of the videos that I made on the 6 C's of care, go back again on the videos on this channel, and you can actually learn a lot from the video that I made on the 6 C's of care. So guys, also, there are other tips that I want to share with you today. Some of these, it just shows that you have to show your understanding of the role in particular. How then do you show your understanding? You go on, before you go to this interview, make sure you've read your job description thoroughly. Make sure you've gone through the job specification thoroughly. So what happens when you go through that? It shows that you familiarize yourself, and you also portray the right person that they want for this job in particular. You show the qualities that they are looking for, or you try by all means to match the qualities that they are looking for. Because obviously, as people, we are built for a variety of roles, a variety of environments. But then when you are going into a particular interview, it's very, very crucial that you link all your experience or all your answers to that role in particular, or that job in particular. Also, one of the things that I want to encourage people today is the fact that also research about your employer is very, very important. What I mean by this, it shows that understand their service, understand their mission, and also it's very, very important to be on the lookout for the news. Make sure you've gone to their website and read, maybe be it testimonials or be it events that they have been promoting or that they have been holding as an organization, and also in your interview, then you can also try by all means to mention some of these things. I mean, if I am the interviewer or if I'm that organization that's interviewing you, it shows somebody has gone to great length to get to know the organization. It shows somebody has actually made an effort to research about the organization, and these actually are the things that really can make a recruiter or can make an organization want you to be a part and parcel of their team. Then there is a certain strategy that I would want to encourage people to actually employ when they are answering questions in an interview. What is this? It's called a STAR strategy, or it's a STAR method. This can work for behavioral questions. So what is it how do you employ the STAR method? In the STAR method, the first thing, S stands for situation, whereby you're actually describing the situation. Suppose maybe you've been asked a question to say, describe how you show courage, or how you have shown how you manage to employ skills above and beyond your ability. Then you go on to explain the situation, what was involved in that situation, how was the situation like. You described in detail the task or the challenge that you were facing. Then the T stands for task. You explain the actual task and the responsibility involved. What is it that you were meant to do, or what is it that you did that exceeded your ability or your role or the expectation of everyone around you. Then A stands for action. What is it that you went on to do? What sort of action did you employ? What sort of response did you give to that situation in particular? What is it that you did, that resolved the whole situation, or that was overly above and beyond? R stands for what was the result? What was the outcome at the end of the day? You have been in a situation, you have employed a certain response, or you've done specific tasks or actions. What was the result, or what was the outcome? Was it a positive outcome? Was it a negative outcome? Was it an impressive outcome? You can just choose how you want to explain the outcome, but mostly I would encourage somebody to portray a positive outcome. It could be positive physically, it could be positive emotionally, it could be positive experience wise. So you just choose what you resonate with, or you can just choose what relates more with you. Right, I'll give also an example here that I put down for you. The example says, the question goes like, can you give an example of a time you handled a difficult situation with a client? So the STAR method would be, how was the situation, or what was the situation? For example, at my previous job, I cared for a patient who was very, very anxious when it comes to taking medication. So what sort of a task did you have at hand? So your task was to administer or to prompt this medication while ensuring that the patient remained calm, remained stable. You managed to calm her down, you managed to calm him down, you managed to control his anxiety levels. So what sort of action did you employ? So if I were in that situation, I would say, well, I first of all asked for their consent, and then I went on to explain to them, I've brought you a medication. This medication is very, very important because it's for your pain, it's to manage your pain, it's to make you comfortable throughout the day. It's just 3 tablets that you need to take, and you can take them with water if you want easy swallow, or you can even take them with juice or some yogurt. And then also this will then go on to calm their nerves. This will also go on to decrease their anxiety level, because you have explained what you're going to do. You have explained the method of intake. You have also explained the importance, how critical it is for them to take their medication. The next thing that I would want to explain is, so what was the result at the end of the day? So the result is that the patient remained calm throughout the whole exercise, and with time, continuously, as you continue to explain, every time you would give them their medication, they ended up like improving. They ended up like being so calm. They now know what's involved. They now know how many tablets they're taking. They now know the method of intake and everything. So it's very, very important. now you have achieved the results at that are required. So it's very, very important that you approach some of these questions in that way. Just try by all means as you practice for these interviews to employ the STAR method. The other tip that I want to give today is whereby you highlight your relevant skills and experience. Do not shy away from mentioning your previous experience. This can be experience. I mean, I'm from overseas. This can be the experience that you got through the previous work that you did when you were overseas, or this can be through personal experience, or this can be through voluntary experience. I know a lot of people would say, I love to talk about only paid experience, but do not underestimate the importance of voluntary or personal experience. Trust me, when you fit it in correctly, it says a lot about you as a person. It says a lot about your character and your approach in this business. So these experiences or these skills should be transferable skills, whereby I always say this: you cannot be talking about care and not talk about communication, be it verbal, be it written, be it any form of communication is very, very key in this business. Show empathy, show teamwork and problem solving, show your ability to manage time. It's very, very important. Also, some of the things that I want to encourage people to do is prepare for practical assessments. In some instances, you may be required to explain maybe certain procedures, like how do you take blood pressure, or how do you do physiological observations. Always show your expertise, or show your experience, or show your competence. And again, when you ask some of these questions to do with the patient, to do with the procedure that you're doing with the patient, always emphasize the need for consent, the need for respect and dignity, the need for confidentiality. There's no need for you to be shouting. Sometimes just draw the curtains and then, you explain the procedure. You ask for consent before you do the procedure, and always speak in a kind manner. Also, some of the tips that I want to explain and share with you is also, I know in this country or in this business, people really are not fussy about how they dress, how formal they are when they do go for these things. But it's always important to just dress professionally, clean clothes, professional clothes. We're not saying be too formal, but neither are we saying be too casual. Be well groomed, like things like fingernails, things like your hair, and just be presentable when you go for interviews. Do not underestimate these things. And also demonstrate your expertise through, just bring any certification whatsoever, just in case they do ask for these things. And also, it's very, very important that we prepare for insightful questions to ask after the interview. You're always asked if you've got any questions. So what is it that you can do? You can ask what their training structure is like. Well, I'll give an example to say, can you tell me more about the team that I'll be working with? How does the organization support their staff with training, personal development? Because I'm passionate about personal development, so I'll always talk about these things. And also, one of the things that I will talk about last but not least is the fact that always when you give examples and scenarios, do not mention people's names, do not mention organizations and places, because it shows your awareness of confidentiality in GDPR. So it's very, very important. Also, again, one of the things that I want to encourage people is there's nothing wrong with making a polite follow-up after the interview. So you give them time, and then afterwards you could send a thank you note, send a polite thank you email within 24 hours, expressing your appreciation for the opportunity and reiterating your interest in the position. This says a lot about you. It shows you're still very much interested and you want to enjoy working with them. Also, the last thing that I want to advise people is policies. Make sure you do emphasize that. Guys, this is all I had for you, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that when we share other videos, then you're the first to come across them. Thank you, and bye until next time.